3. Checks policy. Failure to comply with any of the following rules may result in the issuance of a check by management. Upon receiving a second check, the employee may be subject to a suspension of 3 to 5 days at the discretion of the management team. Employees who receive 3 consecutive checks will be subject to termination. Employee information and communication policy. Employees are required to notify management of any changes to their contact information, including but not limited to phone number, Facebook account, or other primary communication methods, within 24 hours of the change. All employees are required to respond to any and all official polls, messages, or communications issued by management within the specified time frame. Attendance and arrival policy. All employees are required to be present for their scheduled work days. While arrival times are flexible, employees must ensure they arrive with sufficient time to complete all necessary preparation before their scheduled duties begin, including but not limited to sign-in procedures, makeup application, meals, restroom use, and any other required setup tasks. The only excused absences that will be accepted are illness with a valid doctor's note or verified family emergency with appropriate proof. As the operation is only open for a limited season, there is no ability to make up missed time. Each scheduled night is considered critical to operations and must be treated as mandatory attendance. Alcohol, drugs, weapons, and prop policy. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or weapons of any kind are permitted on Nightmare property, including in or around the attraction premises. Any violation of this policy may result in immediate disciplinary action, up to and including termination. All props, including but not limited to weapons, sharp objects, or weapon-like items, must be submitted for and receive prior approval from management before being used in the attraction. Unauthorized props are strictly prohibited. Professional conduct and workplace behavior. A strict no-drama policy is enforced at all times. Personal conflicts, disputes, or issues must be left outside of the workplace and are not to interfere with operations or team dynamics. Any behavior that disrupts the environment or team cohesion will result in disciplinary action. Employees are expected to maintain professional boundaries at all times. Fraternizing or engaging in romantic relationships with fellow staff or customers in a manner that interferes with professionalism, performance, or workplace conduct is discouraged and may be subject to management review. Physical contact must remain appropriate and professional at all times. Employees are required to keep their hands to themselves and avoid any unwanted or inappropriate contact with others. Cell phone use policy. In scene. While assigned to scenes, cell phone use must be kept to an absolute minimum. Phones may only be used for essential and time-sensitive communication. Any use must be done discreetly and out of view of guests whenever possible, and must not interfere with performance, safety, or the immersive experience of the attraction. At all times, employees are expected to prioritize maintaining the illusion and guest engagement over personal device use. Go green. Full operation protocol. When the status is green, the attraction is in full operation and guests are present inside the building. All actors must remain in their assigned scenes at all times, unless otherwise directed by management. Movement between scenes is not permitted during operation without approval. All communication should be kept to an absolute minimum. If speaking is necessary, voices must remain low and controlled. Sound carries throughout the attraction and can disrupt other scenes, break immersion, and take guests out of the experience. Bathroom breaks should be taken prior to opening. Once the attraction is in green status, breaks should be avoided unless absolutely necessary and coordinated through management. All scenes must be kept clean, and all props and set pieces must be treated with respect at all times. Profanity, including cursing or swearing in front of guests, is strictly prohibited during operation. Chain of command. All employees are required to follow the established chain of command. Any questions, concerns, or issues must be reported directly to the appropriate manager. Employees are not to bypass supervisory staff or attempt to resolve formal operational matters outside of management channels. Actor Zone, Assignment and Access Policy. All outside and midway actors are required to remain within their assigned performance areas unless otherwise directed by management. Unauthorized movement into other sections of the attraction, including the main house, is not permitted. Personal relationships or familiarity with ownership or management do not grant additional access or exceptions to assigned duties or restricted areas. This is a professional business environment, and all employees are expected to respect operational boundaries and procedures at all times. House Actor Movement and Conduct Policy. All house actors must remain inside the house during operational hours unless directly relieved by a lead or management. If leaving the house during operating hours is absolutely necessary, actors must minimize any interaction with guests while moving through public areas. If interaction is unavoidable, actors are required to remain in character at all times. Maintaining immersion and guest experience is a top priority, and all movement outside assigned areas must be handled in a controlled and professional manner. Glow Necklace, Hands-on Tour Policy. Glow Necklace experiences are designated as hands-on interactions. However, all physical contact must remain strictly controlled, safe, and within approved performance guidelines. Under no circumstances are punching, kicking, or any form of aggressive or harmful contact permitted with guests. Actors must exercise strong awareness and control at all times to ensure interactions remain safe, professional, and within the intended scare experience. Children and Animal Policy. No animals are allowed on Nightmare property at any time, with no exceptions. Children are not permitted at meetings, rehearsals, practice, events, or operating nights unless the employee is off duty and attending the attraction as a guest during public operating hours. Employees may not bring children while scheduled to work. Children are strictly prohibited from entering the makeup trailer or any employee-only or operational areas. Children are only permitted in designated public customer areas when attending the attraction as guests. This policy is in place to maintain safety, professionalism, and operational control throughout all areas of the attraction. Ride and Parking Lot Policy. Employees receiving a ride are responsible for ensuring their transportation complies with property guidelines. Rides are not permitted to wait in the parking lot for the duration of the night. Vehicles may arrive no more than 20 minutes prior to closing. All rides must be informed of the approximate closing time in advance. Management will provide updates when possible so employees can coordinate pickup accordingly. Once operations conclude, gates will be closed and locked, within 20 minutes of power being shut off to the attraction. Employees must ensure all arrangements are made prior to closing to avoid being locked in or stranded on property. Employee Preparation and Costume Policy. All employees must remain in designated approved employee areas while changing into costume and preparing for their shift. Costume application, makeup, and any related preparation must be completed exclusively in authorized spaces such as the makeup trailer or other designated prep areas. Preparing for work, including dressing or applying makeup, is strictly prohibited in personal vehicles or anywhere in the parking lot. This is both a safety and professionalism requirement, as well as to maintain proper operational standards on property. Responsibility, hygiene, dress code, and personal care policy. Employees are expected to maintain a high standard of personal hygiene at all times, including regular bathing and the use of deodorant. Due to the enclosed nature of work areas and close proximity between staff, consideration for coworkers is required at all times. Strong or overpowering perfumes and colognes, loud scents are not permitted. Employees are encouraged to carry deodorant for reapplication if needed during the night. Employees should eat prior to arrival, as this is a physically demanding role requiring sustained energy and activity throughout the shift. Appropriate attire is required at all times. Clothing that exposes excessive skin is not permitted. This includes, but is not limited to, crop tops and very short shorts. All clothing must be suitable for an active work environment and maintain a professional appearance consistent with the attraction's standards. Social media conduct policy. Employees who list works at Nightmare Dungeon or any similar affiliation on social media are considered representatives of the company at all times, both on and off duty. All public posts and interactions should reflect professionalism and respect toward the company, fellow staff, guests, and the haunted attraction industry as a whole. Opinions shared publicly should be kept appropriate and moderate in tone. Negative comments, criticism, or bashing of other haunted attractions, businesses, or characters is strictly prohibited. Employees are expected to maintain a respectful and professional online presence consistent with the standards of Nightmare Dungeon. Guest interaction and character conduct policy. At all times, employees are expected to maintain respectful and professional conduct toward all guests. Name-calling, mocking, or making derogatory comments about customers, including but not limited to weight, appearance, or any personal characteristics, is strictly prohibited. Employees must remain in character during all guest interactions. Once the attraction is in green, operation status. Comments that break the illusion or reference real-world behavior, such as instructing guests on language use, Greasy G, stop cursing, there are kids here, are not permitted as they constitute breaking character. Maintaining immersion and a consistent guest experience is required at all times during operation. End of night, cleanup and property care policy. At the end of each operating night, all employees are responsible for ensuring their assigned scenes are clean and free of trash or debris. No employee should leave their area expecting others to clean up after them. This expectation also applies to shared spaces, including the makeup trailer and other employee use areas. The house and all employee areas must be properly cleaned and reset before any employee receives pay for that event or work period. If toilet paper or similar materials are needed for latex work or makeup applications, employees must supply their own materials. Use of company-provided bathroom toiletries for makeup or prop work is strictly prohibited. Unity, respect, and team standards. At Nightmare Dungeon, we welcome and respect everyone for who they are. In many ways, our space is a haven for misfits and outcasts, a place where individuality is not only accepted but celebrated. We maintain a strict standard of respect for all team members and guests, regardless of race, religion, sexual orientation, political beliefs, or lack thereof. Disrespect of any kind has no place here. We operate as a team. The person beside you depends on you just as much as you depend on them, whether you realize it or not. When we work together with respect, trust, and unity, we create not only an unforgettable experience for our guests, but also an environment where every member of our team can thrive. Employee Rules Acknowledgement Policy. All employees, staff, and traveling actors are required to sign and date the Rules and Policies Acknowledgement Form prior to working at Nightmare Dungeon Haunted Attraction. This document is not a contract and does not constitute an employment agreement. It serves solely as a safety, operational, and liability acknowledgement to ensure all individuals understand and agree to follow established policies while on property and during operations.